All right, again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, man. Oh, another crazy title. We're back on the Did You Know channel. This says, this man finds safe containing 7.5 million inside storage unit he bought for $500. Yes, that is correct. That's what the title says. We're going to see how true this is in this video. But again, appreciate y'all coming over. Shout out to all the good humans. Whew, these titles be crazy, man. But I don't know if they're like exaggerating it like they did with the lady with the ring. We're going to check it out, though. Hey, ain't gonna waste more time. Let's jump right into it.
Man finds safe containing $7.5 million inside storage unit he bought for $500.
Okay, he said it. Let's see. That didn't look like 7.5 in that little thing.
Placing the final bid that ultimately won the contents of a storage container that would become the dream of a lifetime.
Wow.
Or the ultimate nightmare.
In a final bid.
When a man uncovers what really lies inside his container, he's shocked. And when the police showed up at his door hours later, he wasn't ready. He was just getting comfortable with bidding on storage containers that were on auction. Spending money that he didn't have was a huge gamble when you have no idea what's inside. But there were so many stories out there about people striking it rich. Even of some people finding whole classic cars and driving off into the sunset. So far he'd been lucky, managing to sell the contents for just a little over what he'd paid for the entire lot. But it was a lot of work and a lot of time going through someone else's junk, sorting, cleaning, and then finding the right buyer. He was almost at the end of his rope. If there was nothing big in this one, he was done. Joe stood outside the container with about 15 to 20 other people, eager to rubberneck what was inside the 5x15 unit.
Let's see.
These were too big to get a good look inside, however, because they could store the contents of a one-bedroom apartment. Ideal for furniture, including a couch, chair, and small dining set, sporting equipment, bicycles, business merchandise. Not ideal for glancing inside and spending hundreds of dollars on. The bidding was fun. Not exactly what you see on TV, which is high drama, shouting, pushing, screaming, and general mayhem. But definitely fun. Especially when he got into a bidding war with someone. It felt good to win, and he warned himself, not for the first time, that he would stick to his budget. Don't spend what you can't afford to lose. He didn't want to learn the hard way. But he just couldn't seem to help.
All I gotta say, well, a couple of things. This is reminding me of the movie You, or the show You. But man, invest, because quick as you got it, quick as it could be gone. You know what I mean?
Himself this time around. The container was packed tight with furniture and other goodies he wanted to look a little closer at, and some annoying woman behind him kept upping his bid. It started at $100, a hefty starting bid, but the container was awfully full. He bet, she upped it a little. He bet again, and so it continued. How long could this go on? $350 in, and he was adamant he would be the winner. $400 and she still hadn't given up, but neither had he. $450, $460, $470. Finally, the bid settled on $500. He was shattered and shaking. As reality returned, he realized exactly what he'd done. There better be something amazing inside that box. He had won. Everyone but a few drifted away from the site now that a winner had emerged. They'd lost interest in the contents because they hadn't won anything themselves.
Okay.
But a few stayed around to watch the new owner enter the small building. They only wished they'd been the ones to win it when they saw what he found. Joe slowly walked into the 5x15 unit. It was packed of old furniture, but enough of a gap between existed for him to walk between the items. He felt sweat prickle the back of his neck and forehead. The furniture alone wouldn't cover the high price he'd laid out for this unit. There'd better be something amazing. And he began looking. It didn't jump out at him as it would have in a movie. After all, it was just a dull gray container lying on the floor next to a chest of drawers. But Joe knew what a safe looked like without any fancy CGI to help him. He called up his friends to come out and help him open the safe. Even if he looked all day, he doubted he'd find a
Now
key.
you got to get him a cut.
One power drill later, and they were drilling deep into the lock to force it open. And what they found was beyond belief. Taking the lid off the opening, he was gobsmacked by all the bills lying right at the top. $50 bills in huge stacks. He literally fell over from pure shock. Getting to his feet, he started pulling out wad after wad of cold hard cash. But all things were not going to be peaches and cream for Joe and his huge
What the
find.
hell happened here?
Barely 2 hours into his discovery, there was a knock on the door, and soon men in uniforms were swarming all over the container. Just what had he gotten himself involved in, he wondered. It could have been anything. I mean,
the
just
hell?
who has this much cash just squashed into a safe?
Right.
Joe realized that in his exultation, he had sent photos to his girlfriend and also uploaded the photos of the contents of the safe to pretty much every social media site. No wonder the police were here.
Why you
He
do-
still hadn't been able to count all the cash, but he knew it was enough to roll in. So far, he was up to $1 million. He dragged himself away to talk to one of the officers waiting for him. All in all, there was $7.5 million stashed in a few safes around the containers.
Dang.
Everything from nickels to $100 bills and pink slips for cars. There was just one gigantic problem.
Uh-oh.
The original owner had gotten wind of the find and had hired some top-notch lawyers to get back his fortune. Joe was in trouble. Everything started moving extremely quickly after the police arrived. Joe got a call from the lawyers telling him in no uncertain terms that he must return the money, but that he could keep $600,000 as a finder's fee. Joe had some quick thinking to do.
Wait,
After
what?
consulting with his friends, Joe learned that in the state of California, once a unit had been sold, the contents were no longer owned by the delinquent tenant. He had full rights to keep anything in the unit, after all. He had purchased it fair and square. But the lawyers were not going to back down that easily. Thinking that they were doing Joe a service, they upped the finder's fee to $1.2 million, and they were playing hardball. Who knew what these people were capable of?
Wait a minute.
Joe began wondering just how someone forgets $7.5 million in a delinquent storage rental.
Yeah, that was my question I'm struggling with. How do you, like, what? Sounds like some dirty money to me. You know what I mean? What the hell is going on here, man?
Not someone good, it seemed, but how bad would things get? So would he only get $1.2 million? That's a huge amount of money in anyone's book, but still not quite the huge figure that he had just felt in his hands while unpacking wad after wad of money. He didn't like the fact that he was being strong-armed, but there was also the moral dilemma. It was now his money, but he didn't do a thing to earn it. Perhaps he should give it back. The thought was not sitting well with him. After much deliberation and amongst near threats, Joe decided that splitting the money straight down the middle would be a fair split.
Oh.
After all, the now previous owners had left the container unpaid for a lot more than a couple months. In fact, almost a year, without responding to the letter.
How do you not pay for something when you can't say you didn't have the money to pay when the money's... This is crazy, man. This is crazy. Let's see what they got.
Sent by the store owners. And that debt was exactly why the auction had happened. A storage owner says, "I really don't make much money out of auctions. It's to try to cover our expenses. 90% of the time I don't cover my losses. One unit may have cost me $600 and the person bids at $400, so my revenue still suffered a loss. An unpaid unit does not make any money. The sooner the delinquent tenant can be moved out, the sooner a paying tenant can be moved in."
So they split it down the middle? Is that what they agreed to? That boy, that's some cartel money, boy. You end up going missing, because to me, that's just like too good to be true type situation, so I don't know. They talking about like the threats and all that type of stuff. But man, like I think of like fires and just all, I don't know. Having that much money in there, that's just crazy. Crazy. But again, appreciate y'all coming over. If you guys notice a weird little glitch, I ran out of space on my camera. So I had to like stop it and then restart where I left off at. But it's all good. Peace out.